why aren't Harry and Meghan there?
I think it would be very unwise for Harry and Meghan to have been invited because, as Rob said, that would have been the story. It wouldn't have been about the wedding. That would have been the story. They're clearly not close anymore. I don't know how close they were previously.
Lack of security, I don't know.
Maybe, maybe they couldn't afford
it. Yeah, but to be fair, they wouldn't want... I think it would be completely wrong to take the whole shine away from the bride and the groom, and it's their day. It's not Harry and Meghan's day, is it, really? If they turned up, we'd just be looking only at that one thing.
Yeah.
OK. Now, as a regular feature on our show, we always get to the stage after we talked about the constitutional issue of what happens to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the family getting together for a wedding and the joyous occasion of unity, where we get to talk about Meghan's as ever, which this week it's about candles. I don't know about you guys, but when people buy me a candle for like Christmas or birthday, my kind of heart sinks and I think, well, you really don't know me. Why on earth have you... I've got loads of interest. Why have you bought me a candle? But Meghan has some very expensive candles on a as ever lifestyle brand now. And the interesting thing here is that 10 years ago, and we've all said things 10 years ago, I'm sure that if you came back, it might bite you if you recorded it. But Meghan was talking about her TIG blog, and she said, there are no $100 candles on my site. That's so obnoxious. However, on As Ever, she is selling candles for more than £100, $110 for a morning ritual and evening ritual sets, cosy duo sets for $128. Do you hold her account for what she said 10 years ago?
I think it's pretty hypocritical.
Well, needs must.
But, to say that, and the first rule of PR is actually check what you've said previously before you do a sort of a 360-degree turn. So it does sound incredibly hypocritical. And who would want to buy a candle for that much money anyway?
Well, maybe she'll send you one, Matt.
I think it's a sign of someone not liking me if they send me a candle. Look, does, I suppose, the need for money maybe change your principles?
Well, there's been inflation, so you could argue that the candle prices have gone up. But bottom line is, she's a hypocrite, but it's not the first time that she's said something and gone completely against it, is it?
I'm sure her advisors will be rolling their eyes heavenwards hearing about this latest one.
Well, they'll probably say, that it's just the way, the thing has developed. When she was doing the TIG, it was a completely different audience and it was a completely different time prior to her marrying into the royals and cashing in on the title, I suppose.
Well, she needs to make money.
Yeah, well, they've done pretty well at making money on the back of the monetarising the royal family since they left, so I'm not surprised by it.
Is she changing it? It's only a candle. I keep telling myself it's only a candle, but is this just emblematic of her, changing her principles, over time because she needs money?
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah, I think that without doubt that she is... I think both her and Harry will always... they'll take the next gig, and if it means showing themselves up for what they've said before, I don't think it makes much difference.
Have they always been like this, or do you think things have changed since they left the royal family? Do you think this has always been the way that they act or that they run their businesses?
Well, the Harry that I knew and worked for is a very different Harry to how I see now. And he was the media's darling, even more so, I think, than William was back in the day. He was the cheeky chappy. He was the guy that the media gravitated towards. He was sort of the fun-loving. He was the army hero. And I think he really has changed, sadly. And I know he's still well respected for all the work he does with the Invictus Games, but it's all this drip feeding of negativity, him constantly having at the media. It's the money making. It's sort of the lack of judgment, and almost since he's been married, it's almost his voice has been taken away from him, and the personality that he had has completely disappeared.
Or his advisors are not as good. And the reality is he's off the leash. Before, he was pretty well advised, I think. When he was a prince, he had to operate within a system, within the grid. And as soon as he's been let off the leash and does his own thing, and who'd want to necessarily be an advisor to him because he doesn't seem to take any advice.
Mm. I'm not entirely sure how much they care anymore about criticism.
No, I don't think they do. Yeah. I think what they care about is how much money they're making.
This is my point. Now, still on candles, you'll be happy to hear. We haven't
Candles.
We haven't quite got to jam yet. We're on our second. Yeah, we're still on candles. This is genuinely quite serious because I did cover a story of about 6 or 7 years ago where the pair had sent a letter to a superfan thanking them for raising money. It turned out that this online superfan had sent some abusive messages on Twitter, as it was then, about Catherine and about the royal family. She was a proper Sussex squaddy, and they'd sent a thank you kind of letter for all the work they'd done. Meghan's done it again. They've sent a $300 care package from her lifestyle brand. Care package, I think, means candles and incense. Rather than anything else, who has been openly critical of the Prince and Princess of Wales. The fan who goes by the name Notorious JTB, because says he's completely stunned to receive the gift and a handwritten note from Meghan, which is very personal. This user had previously reposted TikTok commentary, criticising William and Catherine, and complaining about the mediocrity of the Princess of Wales after her trip to Italy. There is this element, isn't there, Rob, called the Sussex Squad, that are so supportive of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and they're a pretty nasty bunch. Should Meghan, particularly in this case, appear to be showing support to these kind of people?
Well, she seems to be... Of course she shouldn't. The reality is, if these people are abusive online to Catherine and William and have been proven to be so, they should not be sending them gifts saying, thank you so much for your support. Are they stone deaf? Are they completely deaf to the actual the whole way this would be perceived? I'm amazed. I'm sure their PR people, if they were advising, would say, "What on earth are you doing?" But as I say, I don't necessarily think they listen too much, and they just look at clicks and they look at how much influence they can get and how much money they can make.
It's almost like rewarding bad behaviour, isn't it? Oh, they've done something really negative about my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, so I'm going to send them a gift. Well done them. But
they'll probably say, "Oh no, we're just thanking her for something that she did, or the person did for us." But it just does. It just smacks of rewarding bad behaviour, as you said. Yeah.
Well, the Sussex Squad. I think I've blocked a lot of them, so I don't actually hear many anymore. But why is there such a situation where there are basically trolls backing Meghan and Harry so much that attack other members of the royal family?
This all blew up. It really did blow up about the time of all the racism allegations and stuff like that. It really did lead to a sort of polarisation, and then we had all the stories about the wedding and the flower girl stuff with Shah. All of this, and that polarised a lot of these people online, and frankly, they're obsessive, and I think there's a degree of that obsessive behaviour online sometimes.
Have you ever seen this kind of clash between opposing royal fans before? Was it like that with Charles and Diana or anything like that?
Not really.
I think, certainly when I joined the royal household in 2001, there was an element in the then Prince of Wales's household where they would leak negative stories about other members of the royal family to big up the Prince of Wales. And there was certainly...
Diana did it as well.
Harry's always made those allegations, hasn't he, that happened?
Yeah.
Well, it did happen, yeah. I was around in 91, at the middle of the War of the Waleses, there was, but there wasn't the online presence there, so therefore you didn't get, the most you'd get for people that had a beef would you get a letter in green ink addressed to the news desk, with all sorts of...
I used to do that.
Which was like, these, I say green ink because there used to be these endless letters that were mad as, madness, and now people can do it online, so.
And they're one step away from actually having to confront someone, so anyone can do it.
Yeah, well, they're anonymous. That's the other thing, practically.
I'm just wondering if Meghan just wanted to get rid of some of her stock.
Well, she can always send us all she can send us all at
care package.
At some royal exclusives, she can send us a candle. I'll stick it in the middle with a little note.
I don't know. If they were watching and they wanted to send us a candle, we would definitely put the candle on here.
Yeah.
Frogmore Cottage. Is it cursed, Rob?
Is it haunted? Didn't someone say it was haunted as well? I don't know. It doesn't seem... I think that when they spent all that money renovating it, making it into one property, there's now talk that it might be reverted
Yeah,
back
so
to
the
smaller
palace,
cottages.
it's not a Crown estate. It's owned by the Windsor estate, which is owned by the royal family, and they are now reviewing reversing the renovations. So Harry and Meghan spent £2.4 million. It was a big thing at the time to turn it into this forever family home. They were there for less than 9 months, and then they were, went to America, finally evicted. Never really, and it's been empty ever since. Even Prince Andrew has turned it down, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has turned it down, and now they're probably just going to go back to pre-2019.
But it used to be a number of cottages, didn't it? And that's the point. They could then put staff of a certain level into those cottages to actually give this, big house, which is now being converted, to somebody in the royal household, or even to rent it out might be the best thing. But they don't seem to be getting too many takers. Maybe people aren't overly enamoured with it. I mean, it does seem to be quite a rambling cottage, doesn't it? And when it was being developed, it didn't actually look that impressive. So I don't know. Maybe keeping it as it originally was laid out might have been the best plan.
Yeah.
Also, 2023, the king evicted them. It's 3 years on. Did he need to evict them? Because no one else. They've not needed the house for any other reason.
Well, it was their decision, if you remember, to not be working members of the royal family anymore. They wanted the half in, half out, and that just wouldn't have worked. So it was their decision to leave the UK. So I think the king was right. Yeah, absolutely.
But he could have left it, as I say, just said you've got a home here if you want, and it's on the estate. Therefore, you've got the police there. I mean, I think it's all about the look. At the time, the PR was very much saying you can't have your cake and eat it, Harry. So if you can't keep the property and go and live in a mansion in Montecito or wherever he was going at that time. So I think it was all about the look. If you think about it, if he wanted a relationship with his grandchildren, it would have been easier if he just said, look, we've got this property, we'll leave it, you can use it when you want to use it. And that way I get to see my grandkids.
But there would still be the issue about security and personal protection, whether the property was there for them or not.
There would be. But I'm sure that the way it works out at Windsor, there's quite a lot of police officers on parade around the castle and around the grounds. I'm sure something could have been worked out.
Well, and William would have moved in just round the corner, remember?
And then there would be a chance of reconciliation. Yeah. There's no chance of a reconciliation whatsoever. Or one party is in California and the others are over here. It's just not going to happen. And Charles has pretty much no relationship with his grandchildren whatsoever. I think he's barely seen them.